All right. Well, good afternoon, Amber. How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
Doing great. We were just talking about the craziness that's happening in this market as we do everything we can to keep up with it, and it just keeps changing super fast. And so, a couple things I want to address. Just going to dive right in. And there's a lot of headlines that are about like, oh, the housing market is softening. We've got a buyer's market. Um, all these things. Okay, so that is not the case. What is the case is there was a slight decrease in contract signings from September to October, a 1.1% decrease. What that doesn't tell you is that there was still a 20% year over year increase on contract signings, 20%. So that's a huge one. I mean, now we could have maybe seasonality is playing into it a little bit. But what I really think the bigger issue here is there's fewer listings on the market. So how can a buyer buy a house that's not for sale? That's where it's coming into. So we just got to keep everything in perspective. So when you want to like really think about what that means. So in the United States, there's 140 million housing units total. And then of those, about 84 million are single family residences. Greater Phoenix has about 2 million housing units, 1.4 million single family, just for your notes. Last week, for the first time in history, single family sales or single family listings available on the market went below 500,000. And I'm talking about the entire country. So if we've got 84 million houses, single family houses that are in existence with 500,000 for sale, that's like half of 1%. So no wonder the challenges are getting a little tighter because there's just not a whole lot on the market. And then you think about, okay, Greater Phoenix, we have about 4 buyers for every available listing right now. And in order for our Phoenix market to be balanced, we would need like 25 to 35,000 active listings. We have like 7,400. So, and then you take it looking at the whole country, aside from New York and San Francisco, a lot of the major cities are in the same situation that we are in, where they just have far more buyers than they have listings. Now, there are some parts of the country that do have, enough inventory for the demand. So nationwide, the average is that there's 3 buyers for every listing. That is not saying we're going into a buyer's market. That is just saying we need to really look at what is happening, because in order to be able to, advise the buyers and sellers that maybe they're seeing these headlines, that's not actually the case. People just like to have like, oh, what can we get these eyeballs from? So it's really important to know exactly what is actually happening in your particular market. I've got a couple interesting facts that I just want to cover that is really interesting. I thought is, so primary homes, the demand for primary homes this year increased 50% year over year. Demand for second homes increased 100% year over year. So we know a lot of people are talking about vacation homes, and a lot of people do buy those in Arizona, both for, up north for the people down in Phoenix, and then of course for everybody who wants to not have to see the winter again. So we've definitely noticed that demand both for primary and secondary homes here. Another thing that I thought was kind of odd, but in 2019 and in 2020, so far this year, there's 19% of purchases have been in cash. And when, money's like free under 3% and all this, it just seems odd to get a loan or to not get a loan. And then, last thing I want to mention is the FHFA last week for the 4th time actually postponed the foreclosure moratoriums. Then now it's January 31st, 2021 instead of December 31st. So we'll keep watching those, see what happens with some of these moratoriums and what's going on, and if any more items are going to be postponed. And then also, one big headline, Amber, mortgage interest rates have hit all-time low 14 times this year. What?
Yes.
What?
Insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, super insane.
Tell us about that.
So every time we, get news that is not favorable for the economy, it's causing interest rates to go down a little bit. And there's just been so much uncertainty that the Fed is just putting more and more stimulus in to keep these interest rates low. And as we all know, real estate is really what our economy, what's helping our economy survive right now. And so My 2 cents on it is I think that we're going to be at about the lows. I cannot imagine them going a whole lot lower than where we're at right now. I mean, we're talking like 2.25 on a 15-year, 2.75 on a 30-year fixed. And so just still an incredible time to be calling your clients about buying up, buying the home of their dreams, buying their forever home, taking advantage of these crazy low rates, explaining to them the affordability that they're getting when they're buying at these all-time lows. Because the one thing we don't know is how long they're going to be here for. And I think it'll be a while, maybe through 2021, just because they can't really risk putting us into another recession by increasing interest rates. But just an incredible time to be doing something with real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And then, and we've been talking about our timelines and things that are happening. So as people are refinancing, buying, doing things with real estate, what about timelines? Like, I know we've talked about appraisals and timelines with that. Like, what are you seeing happening in?
Appraisals are taking longer. So right now, if someone needs a rush on an appraisal, I'm expecting it's going to take about 5 to 7 days, where that used to be more like 3 days. And a normal appraisal is somewhere between, a week to 2 weeks. So a good thing to know is that if your property is unique in any way, is on the outskirts of town, is a home that's not similar to the other ones in the neighborhood, appraisers are being selective right now, picky on which ones they're accepting. And some of those more unique homes, they're having to go through 6 or 7 appraisers to find one that will accept the order even, or isn't going to charge an arm and a leg or have like a 3-week turn time. So anything unique, account for it in your escrow period, and also get the appraisal ordered as quickly as possible. Like, that's just really important. Like, in an ideal world, we'd love to wait until after we have the home inspection to order the appraisal. But when we see a 30-day escrow right now, we're like, we got to get that appraisal ordered right away. So inspections getting done quickly is key. We want to make sure we're hitting dates. We've got holidays that we're going through right now. So just be mindful that appraisals are definitely taking longer.
Perfect. So if if you're out writing a contract, Amber, what would you say would be a good amount of time for an escrow period? Do you say 30 days? Do you say 45, 60? I mean, what's going to be ideal for
We're asking for 45. We're getting it about 10% of the time. So we know it's a really hard market. Agents are trying to be competitive, and they're trying to meet the needs of the seller to win the offer. And then they're also trying to accommodate the lender and the buyer's needs and getting their loans closed. And so it's like, how do we fit the two together? But any time that you can get that extra time, the reason why we're asking for 45 days is, one, we're going through 2 holidays, which is going to massively slow us down due to people just being out of the workplace, less staff, days off, all of that. And then also, the longer the closing, the more a successful transaction it is, the happier the clients are, the more harmonious it is. When it's a fast closing and you're like, go, 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 it's just more stressful. It's not as good of a memory to the clients as we would have liked. And we're all about creating that experience for the clients that's positive. It's going to reinforce referrals down the road. So whatever we can do to make it pleasant, we want to do. But if you have to win an offer, we understand, and we're going to, push through and get it done. So.
Oh, that's interesting. That's some really helpful pieces. And that's something actually the harmoniousness of a transaction, that is something that is important, and we unfortunately don't always have in every real estate transaction, as we know. And so anything we can do to make it go smoothly, I love that, a harmonious transaction.
My number one strength on Strength Finders is harmony. And so that is always my goal, to create this harmonious, pleasant, calm experience amidst the chaos of a real estate transaction. And right now, a 30-day escrow is not going to create a harmonious experience, but we will get it done if we need to. It's kind of our mentality.
I like it. I mean, it's, we're going to do what we need to do, right?
Yep.
But this is some really good information. Is anything else going on, or anything that you wanted to add to?
Yeah, I mean, really good news. We got increased loan limits. So what was it, 2 weeks ago, we got the conforming loan limits. So conforming was raised from 510, 400. up to 548,250. 548,250. So that means that now you can help a client buy a home for 577,000 with a 5% down payment. So that is going to help a lot of our buyers that are looking to move up but didn't have the down payment or the qualifications for jumbo be able to move up into that next house. And then our FHA loan limits went up to 368,000 from 331,760. So that was a $36,000 increase. So now on an FHA, you can go up to a $381,000 sales price.
Wow, for FHA, like that's hard to believe, but
yeah. So with our ever increasing home prices, this really helps us a lot and is great reasons to reach out to your database. Anyone that you've had that was shopping, that got frustrated, that is out there in the market. I mean, this is a great reason to pick up the phone. We're always looking for great reasons. And so make sure to spread this news with your database, send out an email, send out a video, get a mailer out. This is really great news and could be the catalyst to helping some of your buyers be like, all right, we're ready to go buy our forever home.
I like it. This is good news. And it could also be helpful for people who are sellers that may have been on the fence saying, I don't know if I'm going to have enough buyer pool for this certain price point, because that is something that we've looked at and saying, you know, when you're right, just especially on that FHA, when you're right above FHA, there are times where like, hey, just hit that FHA limit. It's going to open you up to so many more offers.
Yep.
So this is good for a lot of people in a lot of places, and sellers. Hey, we definitely want you to come list your house. So, or potential sellers. Awesome. Well, Amber, I just always appreciate you and your great information. And if there's you know, we'll be watching what's going on next week. Gosh. Just wild.
Yeah. Yes, awesome. Thank you for having me. If anyone has additional questions, you know, always let me know. Otherwise, thank you, Sarah.
All right. Well, I will look forward to talking to you again next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.